in rural France. On a day of protest, I am back remembering Foucault. And thinking of kind of mid-Foucault, discipline and punish sort of time. Because there he presents a theory that has so much to say to us. At its centre is an idea that what can be seen changes over time. There are technologies, great technologies, that render humans visible in different ways. He says that the end of the so-called classical era, which is kind of the end of the 18th century in France, just before the revolution, saw the beginning of a new sort of technology, a technology that tried to render the human soul visible. Things like the panopticon, but also all the great hospitals were all about looking and looking afresh at what it was to be a human, to have a human body. All the great vivisectionists, I'm afraid, are doing exactly the same thing. And that image of vivisection is, for Foucault, very accurate. Because what is seen is made sayable, is comprehended, if you like. It's comprehended in words. But as one of Monet's pipes, sorry, not Monet, I'll get it right in a minute, as one of Magritte's pipes is never actually a pipe. And this is not a pipe, be it an image or a word. So it is the way. What is seen is never the same as what is spoken, but rather relations of dark power often run between them. The seen is rendered visible, probed, explored. Comprehension is not a straightforward process of absorption. It is rather constructing, if you like, a life story of what is seen, seeing it in different angles. It always involves something akin to power. Foucault would call it, of course, biopower. So that power is always implied within knowledge that renders the seen spoken, as technology is always implied. Thus far, it might seem complicated enough, but Foucault's genius lies in thinking about two further, not complicated in themselves, but intricate ideas that just lay in different places in this explanation. I'll come on to them in a minute. But I hope you've got the point here. Over the last year, but building on a trend that began, 10 years ago, once the internet couldn't pay for itself by any other way than advertising, it has been paid for by data harvesting. We are literally rendering everything we are, as it is all obliged to move online onto computers. Those computers are becoming then the infinite panopticon, plugged in, moreover, with medical and genetic knowledge to gain full pictures, visible pictures of living humans. Now, what that data means, how it will be comprehended, how it will be understood, is then never a straightforward thing. It's never just going to be people are going to learn it. They're going to rather render it into algorithms that then open up into worlds of experimentation. An attempt to breed a hybrid mind, half artificial, half human. An attempt to see how much influence you can have running this ad or that ad. This is not an easy process, this process of comprehension. It is rather difficult and aggressive, as people use little factors that they know about you to see what they can oblige you to do, the things they can persuade you, who they can make you vote for. It makes being a simple human then so much more difficult, as a new soul is stitched for you to be an endless prison for your body. So, we are entering into different technologies of power, the infinite panopticon, and that should worry you. More than that, Foucault has two other dimensions to this. The first is really the effect of rendering the seen spoken. In Discipline and Punish, Foucault suggests one of the main reasons they were doing this was not to make all humans conform. There are no humans that are absolutely the norm. It is rather to map out every individuality within careers of delinquency. A delinquent then is not something kind of negative. It's not really a criminal. We're all delinquents. We all have our little syndromes. We all play out our dramas according to established rules. And so, on the meta level, the would-be revolutionary London, the ferment, that was so famously ungovernable in the 18th century, was by the 19th century a domain of criminals and of the police. The revolutionaries had been turned through interventions, through regulation, through their own poverty, into yet another criminal, a thief to be hung or understood, a murderer to be comprehended and then executed. Delinquency is then a way of capturing within a single rhythm of spoken language a whole sequence, a whole galaxy of different protests, changes. Now, in our modern era, it is very clear to me that the great delinquencies of the conspiracy theories. Tell me who you conspire with, who you think is conspiring against you, and I will tell you who and what we are. We're all then gathered into our conspiracy theories, and through our conspiracy theories, folk learn about us, market to us, ensure that we are neutralised, made safe. The very revolutionary power of the internet then is changed into a rumour mill, and that rumour mill is made into a way of keeping us where we belong, in this box that is defined for us. True resistance, Foucault says, does exist, but it lies in remaining invisible, secret. And this, in some ways, is the darkest thing that I think is happening now. There is a war on a certain sort of science, a certain sort of knowledge, fought by billionaires. The director, for instance, of Palantir, noted my conspiracy, Thiel, and the rest. These would-be Christian fundamentalists who believe these are the end of times, want to render environmental science and all the challenges it opens up to invisible, make it unsayable, lost. More than that, they want to hide all their own economic evil. They want to hide the effect, of oil. They want to hide the effect of their money, of how they're buying up the security, buying up the state, because they know if they can hide it, it will remain unseen, unsaid. It remains open to their power and to be driven where they like. To be invisible, then, is to be independent of power. And we're going to have a battle of what is visible and invisible that is going to define our times. If the billionaires get their way, their finances will be invisible, and the effect of climate change will be rendered invisible, impalpable, imperceptible. And yet, of course, this is also our power. Another thing that occupies such technocrats, if that is what you can call them, as Thiel, is all those demonstrators who do remain a bit invisible, immune to the conspiracy theories, not part of their information game. For them, these protesters, I mean you and me, my friend, we are the Antichrist, those that will not conform to the new domain of information. In the struggle then, in the end, you have to decide what you want to be seen, what of your soul, what of your nature do you want to be seen and comprehended, and plugged into algorithms, caught in conspiracies, and what you don't. And that's a choice we're all going to have to make individually, for ourselves. Our politics will be defined through it.